Welcome back. Well, let's put focus on Rossari Biotech. Reported a good set in Q3. Revenue jumped 19%, the EBITDA is up 17.5%, and the company has been able to grow their profit by around 34%. The stock is lower though, but that is what the market is looking like generally as well. But let's get in Sunil Chari, who's the co-founder and managing director at the company. Mr. Chari, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, it's been a good performance, and this is at a time when we've been talking about chemical companies facing a lot of headwinds. So can you give us a sense from your HPPC segment where you have seen a good growth of around 31%? Is this something which will continue? Was it led by a volume growth, or did you see pricing growth as well here?
The HPPC segment is 77% of our total revenues. We had focused in the last 4 quarters on growing the HPPC business. Agro, home and personal care, both have been stellar, performers in the last quarter. If you see the last few quarters, we have consistently said that the home and personal care and the agro are the big growth drivers for us even in the future.
Yes, but so this growth, was it led by good volume growth? Were you able to take price hikes? If you can split that for us.
No, the raw material prices have fallen in the last few quarters. So finished good prices have fallen. The volumes are, I think, 25% more than what it was correspondingly last year.
Right. Mr. Chari, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. I'd like to stay with the raw material bit and to talk about what is the exact supply scenario that you're currently witnessing with one of your key raw materials, which is ethylene oxide. Can you share some more details on that?
In the month of October, we were the highest consumer of ethylene oxide from Reliance India in India, which is a very proud moment for Rossari Biotech Limited. We have adequate supplies from Reliance, and we see no hiccups for the future. In fact, we are expanding our ethylene oxide consumption capacity now, and probably will be double in the next 12 to 15 months.
Okay, so you'll be doubling the consumption of ethylene oxide in your operations. That is one part of the raw materials that is used by one of your acquisition, that is Unitop. What about acrylic acid and acetic acid? Have the prices come down there as well? Have you passed it on to consumers? And generally, the destocking issue that chemical companies have been talking about globally, domestically as well, is that something which is over now, or at least starting to improve?
Yeah, India is becoming gradually self-reliant in raw material production. So acrylic acid is being made by BPCL in India. Acetic acid is being made by GNFC in India. Our raw material, imports are practically at a very low level, and we see stability in supplies and even pricing now. There's not too much volatility in raw material pricing of acrylic acid and acetic acid also.
Mr. Chari, your textile business revenue that were down around 7% from last year, around almost 13% sequentially. What's the issue here with the industry, and are we going to see this pressure continue with this business, and how will that impact your financials consequently?
Textile is at around 20% of our sales, and we continue to see steady, growth. The raw material prices have fallen, and hence you see a lower amount of sales, but volumes are better than last year. So we are aggressive on the textile market also for the future. Our lab at IIT Powai has been launching a lot of new products, and we see good growth possibilities. The Bangladesh business is coming on track now, and we see the forex issues in areas like Mexico, Argentina, in Egypt, and even in Africa becoming lesser and lesser. So we see good possibilities for textile growth in the future.
So you are saying that demand is not an issue with the textile specialty chemical segment?
No, we do not have demand issues. Compared to last year, the raw material prices have fallen, and hence the finished goods amount prices have fallen.
You had mentioned in October, Mr. Chari, that you're holding on to your FY24 revenue growth guidance of 10 to 12%. Do you stick to that?
Yes, definitely. If you see, we have grown substantially well, and we are very happy about the growth in the profits. We had given, 10 to 12% profit growth, and this has been very good, especially in standalone.
So would you like to increase that number now that you have said you're growing very substantially?
At the moment, we want to be conservative because we do not know, what is in store in the for volatility in the world, especially the Israel conflict, the shipping crisis, which is now intensifying.
Okay, so can you give us a sense of what exports were in Q3? Half-year mark, you've seen 190 crore rupees of exports. What will you end the year with? Any guidance there?
So the focus on exports has been, seen at Rossari. Last quarter, we did 123 crores, which is the highest ever export amount in the history of Rossari Biotech Limited. We see exports growing further in the coming quarters.
One final question from my end, Mr. Chari. What's your current capacity utilization levels? And once your new capacity comes on stream, what is the kind of revenue and margin accretion you are expecting to your financials?
So at Unitop and Trashter, which are our subsidiaries which have done very well, we are nearing 100% capacity utilization in the ethoxylation part. We have some capacity on the formulation part, and that is where we have, taken 178 crore expansion across the group, mainly in increasing the ethoxylation capacity and also adding new products, especially esters, amines, and other chemistries.
So how much will that add to your revenues once it comes on stream? You've said it will come in Q3 of FY25.
Yes, we are expecting, when the whole 100% capacity uses, we are expecting it to be nearly 400-500 crore rupees.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chari, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all those details. So that's the word coming in from Rossari Biotech. They hold on to their 10 to 12% growth guidance for FY24 and expecting the new capacity to bring in additional revenues of around 400 crore rupees. With that, we'll slip into a break, but before